On the third year after my death, I received a phone that my ex-boyfriend had burned and sent down to the underworld. I tentatively sent a message. "Oh, Pa, are you there? Can you burn some money for me? It's super urgent. Thanks." Less than a second later, he video called me instantly. "My love, is that really you?" he asked. That day, I had lost all my money gambling mahjong with Granny Meng and a few others, so I had no choice but to head home, utterly defeated. I had barely lain down when there was a frantic knocking at the door. "Luna, you have a package from the living world." The underworld guard confirmed my information and handed me a box. I didn't even need to guess. It had to be from Huai again. Ever since I died, I'd been receiving packages from him every now and then. Not just delicious snacks, but also beautiful dresses, you name it, he sent it. He was afraid I was living a hard life in the underworld, so he burned me piles of money. If only he knew I was addicted to mahjong. No matter how much he sent, I lost it all. Thinking of that, tears silently streamed down my face. It was all my fault, being both a newbie and a gambling addict. I wiped my tears and, as usual, opened the box. Why was it a phone this time? I picked it up. It was the latest fruit-themed phone model. Huai really could burn anything he wanted, yet he chose this. Did he ever think that there's no internet in the underworld? How could I possibly use a phone? Wah. Lifelessly, I pressed the power button, only to be startled by the ping of a new message notification. The screen only had one app. I tapped it open. Inside, there was only one contact, and that person had sent me a ton of messages. "Today marks 3 years since you left me. You're so cruel, never once appearing in my dreams, my love. I miss you so much, truly, truly miss you. Are you doing well over there? Are you eating enough and staying warm? I don't even know if you're receiving the things I burn for you. Perhaps you've already reincarnated, living a happy life. Everyone tells me to forget you, but how could I? Your scent in the house is slowly fading. I'm afraid that one day, all traces of your existence will disappear. My love, tonight I can't sleep again, tossing and turning, only thinking of you. You must be so lonely and scared down there, right? Or should I burn a few paper cats and dogs for you to keep you company?" My vision blurred with tears. I sniffled, silently scrolling through the messages he had sent over the years. Tears splattered onto the phone screen. I couldn't hold back anymore. I burst into sobs. Actually, for the past 3 years in the underworld, I had also constantly missed him. Huai was such a big idiot. Why wouldn't he forget me? If he had forgotten, he wouldn't have to suffer like this. He truly was incorrigible. Before I could wallow in sadness for too long, my door was pounded on, as if someone wanted to break it down. "Luna, I know you're in there. Open the door right now. You used my name to call those male ghost models again, didn't you? And you dared to default on your debt? You're driving me crazy. Open up." Startled by the ear-splitting shriek, my tears instantly recoiled. I was about to sneak out the back when the ghost sister, who had been lying in wait, caught me. "Running, are we?" I immediately put on an innocent, flattering smile. "Sister, why are you here?" "HMPH, you tell me," she chuckled, pulling a debt slip from her pocket and shoving it in my face. "How many times is this? Those male models are coming to my house to collect debts. You really are beyond help, aren't you?" She glared at me, exasperated, as if hating that I was a lost cause. "Look at yourself. For 3 years, your money has either gone to calling male models or been lost at the mahjong table. When are you going to save enough to buy a big house?" I dared not look her in the eye, just lowered my gaze, feigning obedience. Actually, the house I was living in was rented. To be precise, with the amount of money Huai had burned for me over the past 3 years, I could easily buy a large villa with a swimming pool and garden. But it was so boring in the underworld that I tried calling a male ghost model once for fun. Who knew I'd get hooked and couldn't stop? Those male ghosts, their bodies were all incredibly stunning. Dark skin, fair skin, muscular guys, innocent younger brother types, or even sly wolf types, they had it all. And they kept saying, "Sister, this, sister," that, melting my heart. The most important thing was being able to touch them. Just thinking about it made my heart pound. Oh my God, beauty truly is a dangerous thing. The ghost sister still wouldn't let me off the hook. She insisted I pay her immediately. "Sister, just wait a little longer. Today is Kingaming Festival. My boyfriend is about to burn money for me. Can I pay you then?" But she wouldn't budge, afraid I'd pull another trick to evade payment. After all, my reputation as a slippery debtor in her eyes had now plummeted to negative infinity. In desperation, I suddenly remembered the phone Huai had burned for me, so I tried sending a probing message. "Oh, Pa, are you there? Can you burn some money for me? It's super urgent. Thanks." To be honest, I didn't hold out much hope when I sent the message. No matter how advanced technology got, there was still no way for humans and ghosts to talk on the phone. But just a second later, the phone vibrated. Then came a message from Huai, his tone incredulous. "My love, is that really you?" Oh my goodness, was this even real? Before I could even process the shock, Huai was already video calling. My hands trembled and I unconsciously pressed, accept. "My love, I'm not dreaming, am I? Is it really you? Wah." On the screen, Huai's handsome face appeared before me. His eyes were red-rimmed, and tears streamed down his face when he saw me. "You're so thin. Have those ghosts down there been bullying you?" Before I could answer, the ghost sister next to me also saw the screen. She shrieked, "Oh my God, a ghost?" She was so terrified that her body flew erratically around the room like a piece of paper caught in the wind. It took her a few seconds to realize she was the ghost. Ahem. Actually, I was dancing. "Yes, dancing," the ghost sister stammered clumsily. Seeing me secretly smile, she immediately snapped, "Hurry up and tell your boyfriend to burn money." Hearing that, Huai on the other end immediately stopped crying and looked at me with deep sorrow. "My love, are you short on money? Wait a moment, I'll go burn some right away. I deserve to die. It must be because of my carelessness that you're suffering down there, right? Wah." Imagining me being bullied because I had no money, Huai burst into louder sobs, looking so pathetic it broke one's heart. "What suffering? You have no idea how well she's living in the underworld." The ghost sister was completely dumbfounded by Huai's ridiculous outburst. Before I could stop her, she blurted out all my scandalous escapades. I could only watch as Huai's face on the screen grew darker and darker. Finally, he wasn't angry anymore, but gave a cold laugh. "Oh, so my little one is living so happily, huh? It seems I'm the redundant one now." "Huai, listen to my explanation first," I murmured timidly, my voice as small as a mosquito's buzz. He gnashed his teeth. "Luna, you're really something. Do you want to drive me mad with anger? I miss you every day to the point of insanity, and you're down there living it up. Do you believe I'll come down there to find you?" Hearing this, I was startled and panicked. "My love, don't think nonsense." He snorted, his face icy, then immediately burned a pile of money for me along with a huge paper golden suckling pig. After paying off all my debts to the ghost sister, I thought she would leave, but to my surprise, she still stood there. I looked at her suspiciously, and she was drooling, her eyes fixed on the fragrant suckling pig. Can I have a bite, sister?" After Huai burned down another pile of paper designer handbags, the ghost sister finally left, satisfied with her bags in hand. Yes, she had been successfully bribed by Huai with designer goods. From then on, she officially became his eyes and ears in the underworld. Huai was afraid I'd be bullied by other ghosts, so he asked her to take better care of me. Of course, while she was at it, she also had to keep an eye on me and stop me from calling those male ghost models. "Are you still angry?" I cautiously glanced at him. Huai said nothing, just silently shed tears. He knew perfectly well I'd soften. "My love, I'm so sorry, please don't cry anymore." I blinked, pouting at him, my voice as sweet as honey. All the sweet words that cost nothing, I poured them out directly into his heart. "It's just because I was too lonely, you know? I don't have a single friend here. The person I love most has always been you, and your body is 1,000 times better than theirs. Don't be mad at me anymore, I love you the most." Seeing that he remained poker-faced, not saying a word but silently choking back tears, I had no choice but to deploy my ultimate move. I pressed hard on my thigh, and tears immediately welled up, making my eyes red. "You don't love me anymore, do you? You used to always feel sorry when I cried, but now you're giving me the silent treatment. I'm not talking to you anymore." I pretended to hang up the video call. He frantically cried out, "I'm sorry, my love, it's my fault. I was just jealous, please don't hang up, have a little pity on me." His voice was choked with emotion. "I'm afraid all of this is just a dream of mine." Hearing that, my heart tightened and my nose stung. I tried to hold back my tears. I softly scolded him, "Idiot." We talked on the phone all day. At one point, I accidentally fell asleep. He still wouldn't hang up, afraid that if he ended the call, he would never see me again. So when I woke up, I heard the sound of gurgling water. I looked towards the screen. The camera was foggy with white steam. He seemed to be taking a shower. Through the hazy steam, Huai's silhouette faintly appeared. I swallowed hard, my fingers unconsciously tracing the cold screen, following every line of his body. His Adam's apple bobbed up and down, his firm chest muscles, his 8-pack abs faintly visible, and that overly dazzling thing too. Just then, his long, pale fingers moved gently. Soap suds grew with his movements. I stared, mesmerized, unable to look away, and finally couldn't help but ask, Huai, what are you doing? Hearing my voice suddenly, he froze for a second, his breath catching. Immediately after, he quickly bent down, groaning softly as if startled. Water poured down, washing away the fine white foam from his body. My love, you did that on purpose, didn't you? He took the phone, glanced at me, his eyes full of grievance. The camera was now facing his face, beautiful enough to make anyone lose themselves. It's truly a feast for the eyes. I giggled and told him to move the phone a bit further away. I didn't know if it was because the bathroom temperature was a bit high, but his full chest muscles flushed a faint pink, which involuntarily reminded me of our intimate moments when I was alive. I had to say, they were both big and soft. I had playfully bitten that spot countless times. Thinking of this, I licked my dry lips, my gaze gradually becoming dangerous. A little lower, I want to see something else. For several days, I didn't go anywhere. I just stayed home video calling Huai. Perhaps because I had been celibate for too long, I now craved his body even more. The feeling of being separated by a screen, unable to touch, unable to eat, was truly maddening. I even shamelessly asked him to livestream for me. Seeing Huai's eyes gradually becoming hazy and his face flushed on the screen, my breathing also became hurried. When I sat down at the mahjong table again, I felt completely re-energized, my spirit soaring, completely wiping away my previous dejection. This time, I not only won continuously, but also reclaimed all the money I had previously lost. I object to your cheating, Granny Meng slammed the table, her face on the verge of tears. A few Underworld guards next to her nodded in agreement, echoing her. I feigned innocence, blinking my eyes innocently at them. Did anyone say before we started that we couldn't get outside help? Hearing that, they exchanged glances and then simultaneously flipped over the mahjong table. No more playing, no more playing. If we keep playing, we'll lose even our underwear. Just then, Huai had something urgent to attend to and couldn't continue guiding me remotely. I reluctantly hung up, ending the video call. Seeing that I still looked regretful, as if I hadn't played enough, Granny Meng proactively changed the subject. Your boyfriend really treats you well. Even the debts you incurred from calling male ghost models, he burned money to pay for you. And those beautiful dresses you wear, and all the precious jewelry. Tusk, none of them are alike. I'm dying of envy just looking at them. No need to say it, Luna. You must have lived a very happy life when you were alive, right? At that, I suddenly paused, silent for a moment. Granny Meng realized she had misspoken, looking a bit flustered. Oh dear, my mouth really did slip. I just smiled, waving my hand dismissively. Actually, you're right. My happiness only truly began when I met Huai. He gave me 2 chances to live. When my parents passed away, I was only 3 years old. Wanting to claim the house my parents left behind, my youngest uncle actively offered to adopt me. At first, my uncle and aunt were actually quite kind to me, but as time passed, their true colors gradually showed. I started to be forced to do housework, and if I didn't listen, they would scold and beat me. I was so tiny then, not even tall enough for the kitchen counter, yet I had to start fires and cook for their whole family. Every time I cooked, I had to pull up a chair to reach. My uncle's son loved to bully me. He would often lift my skirt when I was busy working, and sometimes even deliberately kick over the chair I was standing on, making me and the pot tumble to the ground in so much pain I couldn't breathe. Clearly, he was the one who did wrong, yet I was always the one who got scolded. Once in the bitter cold of winter, I was kicked out of the house. It was -5 degrees outside. I only had a thin jacket on. No matter how much I knocked on the door or cried and begged, the people inside acted as if they didn't hear anything. I huddled on the doorstep, continuously rubbing my arms to keep warm. I was both cold and hungry. In a daze, I felt like I was about to die. Otherwise, how could I be seeing my parents? When I opened my eyes again, I was lying in Huai's room. He was our upstairs neighbor. Occasionally, I would see him in the apartment complex courtyard. Anyway, he was the most handsome child I had ever seen. "You're awake," Huai entered, carrying a bowl of rice. Just as I was about to speak, he covered my mouth with his hand. "SHH, my parents don't know you're here." I nodded, signaling that I would be quiet. He handed me the bowl of rice. I practically devoured it in a few minutes. That night, I stayed in Huai's room. The next morning, he gently woke me up and led me outside. He took off his padded jacket and put it on me, so I wouldn't shiver from the cold. After a night, my uncle and aunt seemed to suddenly remember I was still outside, scolding as they opened the door. Only when he saw me safely step inside the house did Huai feel relieved and return to his apartment. It's safe to say that if it hadn't been for Huai that night, I truly might have frozen to death outside. That was the first time he saved me. In the days that followed, whenever I was kicked out of the house again, he would secretly let me stay. I can say I was raised by him. Every bite of food, every spoonful of rice, he took care of. Until his parents discovered it, then I learned the truth. It turned out that every meal I ate daily was actually 2/3 of Huai's own portion. If he hadn't fainted from low blood sugar at school, perhaps no one would have discovered that he was secretly raising a little girl like me. Later, my existence was no longer a secret to Huai's family. I officially had my own bowl of rice in his home. His parents treated me very well. They sympathized with my situation and always tried to help within their means. When I was 17, I almost died from carbon monoxide poisoning. My uncle's family went on vacation and forgot to turn off the gas stove. At that time, I was sick, sleeping soundly in my room, completely unaware that death was approaching. Only when I was rescued and regained consciousness did I hear people say that Huai had saved me. That day, passing by my house, he faintly smelled a gas leak. No matter how much he called, no one answered inside. After calling 911, he put all his strength into kicking open the tightly shut door. I was unconscious then, and he carried me straight out. I heard he cried terribly that day. The entire apartment complex heard him sobbing and begging the doctors, "Please, save her." Wah. That was the second time he saved me. Perhaps deeply affected by that incident, after the university entrance exam, Huai chose to enroll in the Capital Medical University. After graduating, he became an excellent doctor. As for me, once I reached adulthood, I used the law to reclaim the house my parents left behind. From then on, I completely cut ties with my uncle's family. From that day forward, my name was the only one on my household registration. The year I got into university, Huai was a fourth-year student. On a quiet afternoon, he came with a bouquet of flowers and confessed his feelings to me. And so, Huai and I became a couple. All those years of companionship deepened our feelings for each other. We loved each other like any normal couple in the world, sweetly and warmly. His parents strongly supported our relationship, even planning our wedding for after I graduated from university. So what happened after that? Did you two get married? An Underworld guard couldn't help but ask. I gently shook my head. No, I died before we could get married. Hearing that, Granny Meng and the others all sighed regretfully. Ah, what a pity. You were just over 20, the time when life begins to shine. So, why did you die? How did you end up in the Underworld? I thought for a while, but genuinely couldn't remember how I had died. I don't know, I seem to have forgot. Seeing me frown, trying to recall, Granny Meng patted my shoulder gently and said softly, "It's good not to remember. Death is a painful memory for everyone. The human brain is small, it's enough to just keep the beautiful moments." The phone in my pocket vibrated. It was a message from Huai. "No more talking, my boyfriend is calling." "Tusk, all right, hurry home, don't keep him waiting anxiously." Hearing the sisters tease me, I smiled shyly. Because the Bridge of Helplessness was quite close to where I lived, to shorten the travel time home, I chose to take the path across the bridge. Usually, the bridge was full of souls being escorted by Underworld guards, preparing for reincarnation. Most of these souls were failed candidates for the Underworld Civil Service exam, sent back to the living world. After all, the Underworld also had to control the number of ghosts. As for those like me who passed and were allowed to work in the Underworld, there were quite a few. At best, one could become an office worker. I greeted the Underworld guards standing guard at the bridge. After confirming my identity, they opened the passage for staff. But an incident occurred at that very moment. A soul suddenly broke free from the underworld guard's restraint, screaming like mad. Please, just let me retake the exam one more time. Don't make me a human. I'll definitely pass this time. He yelled and charged forward wildly, directly colliding with me, sending me tumbling to the edge of the bridge. The phone in my pocket was also knocked out by the impact. I could only watch helplessly as the only connection between me and Huai fell straight into the river of oblivion. I cried for a very long time at home. Around me, rows upon rows of phones were stacked up, but not a single one could help me reconnect with Huai. Perhaps he also sensed something was wrong because he had burned me many phones in the past few days. Many ghosts came looking for me. I didn't open the door for any of them, only clutching the stacks of phones in my hands, sobbing silently. Finally, Granny Meng went to find my landlord to get the key. Once she opened the door and came in, she apologized profusely. Luna, I'm sorry. She looked contrite. It was my people's negligence in watching over that soul. I've already taught him a lesson for you. Granny Meng gently patted my back. Don't be sad anymore. I knew very well in my heart that this wasn't her fault, but just thinking about Huai being heartbroken and worried because he couldn't contact me made my tears unstoppable. About half a month later, Granny Meng suddenly came to find me when I was still sad and despondent. Luna, I have a way. I can send you back to the living world. It's just what? My eyes immediately lit up, eager to hear more. You might have to return to the human world in the form of a dog, Granny Meng explained. I just received the body of a Maltese dog. I can let your soul enter it. It just died not long ago, so now is the most suitable time for your soul to merge with its body. I was a little surprised, but wouldn't that violate the rules? Don't worry, she reassured me. There are tens of thousands of names to check in the Book of Life and Death every day. King Yama won't notice one missing dog. Besides, it's only 10 years. For us ghosts, time flies by quickly. It'll be over in a blink, don't worry. Granny Meng urged me to go with her quickly. If we delayed, we would miss the opportunity. When we arrived at the Bridge of Helplessness, we saw several souls already waiting there. It was the ghost sister and the underworld guards I played mahjong with. We'll watch over things here. Luna, you can go find Huai without worry. The sisters patted my head, smiling. Good luck, Luna. When I opened my eyes again, I was back in the human world. Before me was the familiar blue sky with fluffy white clouds. I could even smell the scent of plants mixed with the smell of earth. After getting used to and adapting to this new body, I discovered that I was in city Huai, however, lived in the capital. These two cities were about 2,500 kilometers apart. Even so, I wasn't discouraged by such a long journey. Because love can overcome any distance, as long as I could reunite with the person I loved, a little hardship was nothing. So, relying on my cute appearance and my skill at feigning innocence to get by, I began my journey, running straight towards Huai. Mommy, look, such a cute puppy. A lovely little girl in a car pointed at me and exclaimed. I whined softly, as if greeting the little girl back. The road to the capital was not as smooth as I imagined. When I couldn't find good people to feed me, I drank rainwater when thirsty and rummaged through trash cans when hungry. Running long distances for many days wore down my paws. I almost gritted my teeth through the pain to continue on my way. Finally, after more than half a month of hardship, I set foot in the capital. Relying on old memories, I followed the familiar path back to his house. The sky gradually darkened, and people on the street became sparse. Huai didn't seem to be home. I dutifully squatted in front of the door, waiting for him to return. I waited and waited from dusk until dawn, but still saw no sign of him. I started to worry, fearing that something bad had happened to him. So, using my keen nose, I followed his familiar scent to the hospital where he worked. Because of my small size and the crowded hospital, no one paid attention to my presence. Thus, I easily sneaked inside. Passing by a patient room, the familiar scent suddenly intensified. I gently pushed the door open with my head and immediately saw Huai lying weakly on the hospital bed. He was wearing a patient gown, receiving an IV drip. His eyes, once bright as stars, were now gloomy, devoid of spirit. I approached, looked up, and silently gazed at him. He seemed to sense an uninvited guest in the room. He blinked, tilted his head, and looked at me. Woof, 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 Huai, it's me. I was so happy I bit my tail, spinning around in place, desperately wanting to tell him that I had returned, but my mouth only produced soft barks. Seeing this, a gentle smile appeared on his pale face. Where did this come from? Such a cute puppy. Huai patted the empty spot on the bed, signaling for me to jump up. I lightly leaped onto the bed, obediently lying beside him. He reached out and gently stroked my head. I didn't know why, but his eyes gradually became moist, and tears silently rolled down the corners of his eyes. I must be crazy to feel like you're so much like her. My Luna also had big round eyes like yours, and that same clever, mischievous expression. His movements paused, as if he couldn't suppress his emotions anymore. He covered his face, choking back sobs, but I'll never get to see her again. When the doctor came to check the room, I immediately hid under the bed. Actually, they had seen me but pretended not to. The doctor said to Huai with a stern face, "Don't take sleeping pills anymore. You're a doctor yourself. You should know that abusing medication is unacceptable. Life is not a joke. You must take responsibility for yourself." "I'm sorry, I've troubled everyone. I just miss her too much." The doctor looked at him, sighing deeply. "After that accident, you've been off work for 3 years. When will you come back? The hospital needs good doctors like you." Huai was silent for a long time. After a very long pause, I heard him laugh softly, self-deprecatingly. "I used to think I was very capable. I saved so many people, yet I couldn't save the person I loved most. I'm sorry, Senior. I think I've lost the ability to hold a scalpel. Get some good rest, I'll be going." The doctor patted his shoulder comfortingly and left. As for me, I was still dazed, immersed in his words. "Puppy, why are you spacing out?" Only when I heard him call me did I snap out of it. "Woof," I whimpered, snuggling into his arms, constantly licking away the tears still clinging to his face. I'm sorry, Huai. I didn't realize my death would bring you such heavy sorrow." When Huai was discharged from the hospital, he brought me home. As soon as we stepped through the door, he carried me into the bathroom. "Your fur is all tangled. Let me bathe you and brush it." I glanced at myself in the mirror, my whole body covered in dust, gray and messy, transformed from a pristine white puppy into a dirty gray one. It wasn't surprising. After all, I had just endured a journey of over half a month. As Huai scrubbed my body, I felt strange sensations. Blushing, I quickly raised my tiny paws to cover my face. Even though I was a small dog now, this feeling was still so weird. At night, when it was time for bed, I habitually jumped onto the bed and snuggled under his blanket. My 4 tiny paws clung to his warm abs. Huai paused slightly, then looked at me with nostalgic eyes. "You really are so much like her. She also liked to put her hands and feet on me to keep warm." Woof, woof, woof. And just like that, I was back by Huai's side once more. But he didn't know. Every day, he still burned phones for me, still sent messages regularly. I often heard him sobbing at night. Ever since I returned to his side, he had been continuously insomniac, never getting a good night's sleep. Every time he reached for sleeping pills from the drawer, I would quickly retrieve and hide them. I always remembered what the doctor said. He shouldn't be too dependent on medication. I also discovered he showed signs of wanting to commit suicide. One night, he was in the bathroom for a very long time and didn't come out. Feeling that something was wrong, I stood by the door, barking incessantly. Inside, it was completely silent, not a sound. When I finally managed to jump up and open the doorknob, I saw him submerged in the bathtub, his entire body underwater. He seemed to have lost consciousness. Fortunately, he later woke up, and his body had no serious problems, but I was still terrified. From that day on, I didn't leave his side for a second. As soon as I detected any self-harming behavior, I would immediately bite his hand, stopping him from doing anything further. Coincidentally, I found Huai's diagnosis papers. It stated severe depression. In recent days, his episodes of collapse had become more frequent. I was very afraid that if I let my guard down for a minute, he would do something foolish. I kept thinking, if he knew I had returned, would he still want to die? Thinking of this, I struggled out of his embrace, where he was currently sobbing. Not long after, I held a photo of us together when I was alive in my mouth and brought it to him. Under his astonished gaze, I wagged my tail frantically and barked loudly. "Woof, woof, woof, Huai, it's me, I've returned." He didn't understand my meaning, only carefully put the photo away and gently said, "Don't be silly anymore, you idiot." I was so anxious that I whined incessantly. Just as I was at a loss, I suddenly remembered that when I was alive, I had hidden a diary in the house. Only Huai and I knew about it. I crawled under the sofa where he was sitting and dug out the dusty diary. Before his stunned eyes, I nudged the diary with my paw and then pointed at myself. Gu Hui's hands began to tremble. After a very long pause, he choked out, "My love, is it really you who came back?" Ever since he knew I had returned in the form of a dog, Gu Huai doted on me endlessly. Not only did he feed me delicious food and drinks, but he also willingly let me lie on his stomach for warmth. Every day, he groomed me and dressed me up like a princess. Whenever we went for a walk, he couldn't bear to let my paws touch the ground, always carrying me in his arms. Anyone who passed by and complimented my cuteness made him happier than me. Now he clung to me even more, afraid I would disappear again, taking me everywhere he went. Even when he showered, he would lay a towel in a basin and place me on a small chair nearby. This made it convenient for him to shower and keep an eye on me at the same time. Because of this, I got a good eye full. At night, when we went to sleep, he placed me right on his chest. I buried my face into those firm chest muscles, took a deep breath, and let out a satisfied woof. He gently stroked my tiny paws, his face full of joy, his eyes shining with the happiness of someone who had just found the most precious thing in their life. I felt his spirits improving day by day. His negative emotions and world weariness gradually dissipated. He began to listen to his therapist's advice, taking me on trips everywhere. We went to Dali, to Tibet, running and playing together across the vast grasslands of Inner Mongolia, marking our presence in this world with every step. Perhaps it was because of that happy time that we let down our guard, so when the accident happened, we were caught by surprise, unable to react in time. When the masked man rushed forward, knife in hand, stabbing towards Gu Hui, my body reacted faster than my thoughts. The moment the knife plunged into my body, that sensation suddenly perfectly matched 3 years ago. It was at that very moment that I suddenly remembered how I had died after all. The day before our wedding, I brought the lunchbox Gu Hui's mother had prepared to the hospital to give to Gu Hui. During that time, everyone was out eating, and the hallway was almost empty. Gu Hui wasn't in his office. He was probably checking on patients. I sat down in his chair, looking forward and smiling happily, imagining his surprised expression when he saw me. But before I could wait for him, I was unexpectedly stabbed from behind by a psychiatric patient. He held the knife, his eyes crazed, screaming at me, "Die, die, ha ha ha." The commotion caused by the incident instantly threw the hallway into chaos. People rushed in from everywhere. Hospital security quickly restrained the man. I collapsed in a pool of blood, my whole body aching as if being torn apart. Before losing consciousness, I vaguely saw Gu Huai rushing towards me, staggering as if about to fall. The last moment etched into my mind was his face distorted with pain, his eyes bloodshot as if he were going mad. Later, I learned that the man had targeted Gu Huai directly. It was only because Gu Huai refused to perform surgery on his father, who was beyond saving. So, he harbored a grudge and planned his revenge. Coincidentally, I appeared in that office that day, so he changed his target in an instant. The knife originally intended for Gu Huai ultimately plunged into me. He wanted Gu Huai to also experience the feeling of losing the person he loved most. Perhaps it was because I didn't want to remember his pained expression at that time that my brain automatically activated its protective mechanism, erasing that memory from my mind. "My love, please don't scare me." Gu Huai trembled, holding my small body close. Hot tears streamed down my face. I could no longer distinguish if this was a dream or reality. I only felt my soul slowly separating from my body. The man had been restrained by those around us, and nearby police immediately arrived and took him away. "Luna, you only have 3 minutes to say goodbye to him." The voices of the black and white guards suddenly echoed in my ears. I guessed that my secret return to the human world had finally been discovered. King Yama had sent them to take me back. I wondered if Granny Meng and the others would be implicated and punished. Gu Huai seemed to be able to see them. He cried and said to me, "Why are you so foolish? Who gave you the right to suffer this pain for me?" I sighed softly. Perhaps this is a tribulation I cannot avoid. I only felt a little regret. We were just a few steps away from being able to return home together. Who would have thought that person would escape criminal responsibility due to a psychiatric evaluation, only being sent for compulsory treatment? After being discharged, he continued to stalk Gu Huai. One can only say that everything was fate, predetermined in my destiny. Huai saved me twice, and I also saved him twice. Don't cry anymore, your crying makes my heart ache so much. I forced out a slight smile as if nothing was wrong. It's a good thing it's not you who died. So many people love you. If you died, how would your parents live? That would be too cruel to them. Anyway, my parents are no longer around, they won't be sad for me anymore. But my love, did you ever think about me? This is also cruel to me. Huai said, crying and choking. You clearly know how much I love you. Hearing this, I couldn't hold back anymore. Tears fell, incessant and steady. It's time, we must go. The black and white guards silently glided to my side, softly urging me. Huai reached out, wanting to hold on to me, but he could only watch helplessly as his hand passed through my soul. Please, don't take her away. I beg you, give her back to me. I truly cannot live without her. I wiped my tears, crying as I spoke to him. Huai, I'm sorry I broke my promise. I can't marry you anymore. You must live well, live for my share too. If you dare to die for me, I will never forgive you. I don't remember how many years I twirled in the underworld. When the black and white guards brought me back from the human world, I thought King Yama would severely punish me. In the end, he only made me sign a contract to work unpaid for the underworld for 50 years. Granny, Meng, and everyone else, for secretly sending me back to the human world and violating underworld regulations, each had 30 years' worth of salary deducted. Luna, don't stay cooped up at home working all day. Come call some male ghost models with me, sis. The ghost sister floated in front of me, enticing me with a seductive tone. I waved her off gracefully. No, you go alone, sister. If Huai knew I was calling male ghost models again, he'd probably get so angry he'd roll down to the underworld to join me. Really not going? I heard a new male ghost just arrived over there. Not only is he handsome, but his body is also super amazing. And today is his first day on the job. Many female ghosts have already booked him. In the end, I couldn't resist her persistent soft pleading. I reluctantly accompanied her to the liveliest club in the underworld. After sitting there and drinking a few cups of tea while the ghost sister was happily playing, I quietly sneaked away. After all, I was already deeply in debt. Where would I get the money to call male ghost models? It was better to go back to work and try to pay off my debt to King Yama as soon as possible. As I sighed sadly, leaving the club, someone suddenly called out to me from behind. Luna! This voice, why did it sound so familiar? I thought I was working so hard I was hallucinating, so I didn't think much of it and continued walking forward. My love, is there a male ghost model with an 8-pack who's also named Huai? Do you want him? I immediately spun around, and then the person I had longed for day and night was striding towards me. He smiled and spread his arms wide. My love, I've come to find you.